Good morning, everybody. Wake up, shake up. It's the Diane in the Morning Show here on the Home Business Radio Network. Guys, we got a big show for you this morning. I hope you have your notebook. I hope you have your pen or pencil. I hope you've had your coffee. I hope that you are ready to go, because I'm going to share a story with you and a person with you that I have personally watched do some crazy stuff over the last couple of years. It's an incredible story. I know you're going to find a lot of inspiration in it. And most importantly, guys, I always talk to you about the dream. Anybody can if they make a decision. Anybody can if they put their nose to the grindstone. Anybody can if they put their blinders in. But before we bring on our special guest, I want to remind you guys, if you haven't been over to homebusinessnetwork.com, Home Business Network, excuse me, I'm saying the wrong thing, Home Business Radio Network, I'm all a fluster. I haven't had my own coffee, gosh, guys. homebusinessradionetwork.com. You can go there, you can listen to the shows live. We have shows from the top people in the industry going on 24 hours a day with some music in between, so you can shake your booty and then learn a little something. We actually have a widget. You can put it right on your blog if you want to share it with the people that are reading all your stuff. And, of course, we have the downloadable apps for your smartphones, iPhone, Android. You can take the Home Business Radio Network with you anywhere you go. Pop on the headphones, and when you have a few extra minutes, tune into a show. Feed your mind, build your business. It's absolutely incredible. And, of course, you can always find me over at DianeHochman.com. And I'm looking for you to send me a tweet at twitter.com/Diane Hochman or at Diane Hochman. Tell me, hey, I love the show. Hey, I hated the show. Hey, I love what you said today. Hey, I hated that guy you had on today. I'm kidding. We're looking at each other on webcams right now, so I'm giving him a hard time. But, tweet me. Let me know, what do you want to learn about? What do you want us to cover? So, guys, today, my special guest is a young man named Brian Cole. Brian, how you doing?
Great. You?
I'm awesome. And, Brian, the format of the show, it's not really an interview. I just want to banter with you. So feel free to jump in. You don't have to wait for me to ask a question or whatever. I mean, it's just morning radio. We're just hanging out. We're just doing it virtually. So it's pretty cool. But, guys, I met Brian. Brian, when was it? It was a year and a half ago? A year ago?
The end of April 2011.
Right. I met Brian at a very big live event, and you guys have heard me do shows on the importance of events. And Brian, if you didn't believe me about the importance of events after today's show, you're going to believe me. And I met Brian, and Brian had just come in. He was the lucky winner of a free VIP ticket to the No Excuses Summit, which is one of the biggest events in online network marketing. And Brian had won a VIP ticket, and he was, he came down, and for some reason his ticket wasn't waiting, like at the will call desk. And nobody knew who he was, and this guy had come all the way there, flown across the country from Ohio, right, Brian?
Yes.
You lived in Ohio at the time?
Yes.
And he had flown across the country into crazy Las Vegas. How old were you then, 21?
21.
Yep, 21 years old, first time in Vegas, and nobody seems to know who he is, and they wouldn't let him in. And that's exactly the moment when I met Brian. And little did I know, and we got him fixed up, and he got in, and there was no problem. Everything was on the up and up. But little did we know that that weekend would be a weekend that would change his life forever, wouldn't it be, Brian?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and share my story with everybody.
Please do.
I actually will backtrack a little bit, but we'll get to No Excuses.
Okay, good.
To
I
here
didn't know there was more before.
Oh.
Was there life before me, Brian?
1 year's worth, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure. Go ahead, tell us.
Yeah, so at the beginning of 2010, I dropped out of college. I had failed every single class my previous semester. And the class that I passed I barely passed, but since it was in my major, it wasn't high enough to get actual credit for it. So essentially, I failed all my classes. My life had come completely crashing down. My parents were paying for me. It was a private university. Over 15 grand was put into that semester, and it went completely out the window. So my parents said, it's probably just the best idea for you to just, stay back for this semester and kind of think things over before deciding whether or not you want to go back. So I found myself going back to the job that I had when I was on breaks, which was McDonald's.
I forgot. It's so hard to even remember that you worked at McDonald's.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go on.
Yes.
Wow.
For 4 years on and off, I was a McDonald's employee.
Now, did you do the burgers, did you do the fries, or did you do it all?
When I was first there, for the first couple of years, I did a lot of the burgers, the fries, and stuff like that. But eventually, once I went full-time at the beginning of 2010, they put me in drive-thru.
You got to be good. You got to be quick. So awesome.
Right, exactly. But once I learned how to do it, I became one of their best employees. But anyway,
no doubt.
That's besides the point. I was working there full-time, and they needed someone to come in at 4 in the morning every day to do drive-thru and do the morning the morning shift. So for every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. on or about, I was there working full-time at McDonald's. I had no idea what I wanted to do in life. I was completely clueless, and I had to wake up at 3 a.m., and I would always crash when I came home at 1 because I was working with a bunch of idiots.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's saying it nice, but anyway, I would always crash, and then I would do what's called split sleep, get a few hours after I would come home, and then a few hours before I went in. I would always come into work half asleep, but I still performed okay. Well, thankfully, I was only 20 years old at the time, so I was young. I could bounce back pretty quick. Anyway, that's where my life was when I got to a point where I knew I wasn't going to pursue management, and I had to do something. I had to make a living, and eventually I wanted to be on my own. Since at the time I knew I didn't want to go back. My heart was in Ohio. It was not in Virginia, where I was going to college. So I knew I was happy staying back in Ohio, and I wasn't going to go back. So I knew I had to do something with my life to at least make a living. My best friend from high school gives me a call, and he wants to share this business opportunity with me, which I was very open to, since I said I wanted to do something outside of McDonald's, of course.
Yep.
And then when I told my parents about it, they're like, pyramid scheme, run.
Yep.
Run with your life. And then after actually my parents and myself did a lot more research on it, and we found out, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's just extremely difficult, almost impossible. Well, for me, the 3% chance of having a success outweighed the 97% chance of not having success because it was at least a chance.
Okay, stop for a minute. Stop for a minute. Guys, I'm going to bring Brian back in 1 second, but I want you to write that down. See, the entrepreneurial mind, the go-getter, to him, the 3% shot was something very special. And,
yes.
And I want you guys to think about that because most people, they don't believe that they could be one of the 3%. Brian did.
Right.
So let's take it back, pick up the story again, but I wanted to point that out because that's one of those things.
That's good.
Brian has a very special mindset, and I will make fun of him in a few minutes about it in a great way because it's a very special thing. So go on. The story's fascinating. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So I decided that the 3% was worth it over the 97% chance of me failing because it was just an opportunity. So on March 31st of 2010, I got involved in network marketing, which I never ended up actually pursuing, but that's where I started. And actually, my first 2 weeks, all I did was spam, spam, spam on Facebook. And I would share my business opportunity with everybody through messages, through friend requests, through writing on people's walls.
So you were that guy.
Yes, I was one of those guys.
That was you. Okay, I littered my town with flyers. You spammed everybody on Facebook. It's just a sign of the times.
Turned $2 into $1 million overnight or something like that. Yeah. I used to be one of those people. Anyhow, no one ever liked, commented, or messaged me about my business for those 2 weeks. So I realized, okay, there's got to be a better way. 2 weeks after I got into business, actually, no, it wasn't 2, it was 1. My upline jumped ship. Everybody, they jumped ship from my company, and they said, well, we're going with this company now, and basically, if you do not want to come with us, you're on your own. You're on your own.
And, of course, you didn't have any more money to go make the move with them anyway because you had just spent all your money probably. So
there was a paycheck in there, so I was able to join them in that opportunity, even though it was pretty much my last dollar anyway.
Yeah.
I joined them in that company, which is a company I had no desire of even wanting to be a part of.
Wow.
And then after, 3 weeks after I got involved in this industry, on April 18th of 2010, I joined MyLead System Pro. So I found MyLead System Pro almost right away after getting involved in this industry. And then for the next week or two after that, I was just going through system setup. My upline was very, very good, was in constant communication with me, and I knew that I wanted to work with her eventually in the same company that actually you're in now. We'll keep the company names off this radio show.
Well, but let me just tell everybody, because you did mention one company name, and it's important that we just fill you guys in. My Lead System Pro is a marketing community training center, et cetera. Guys, if you have questions about that, of course, you can get a hold of me. We're also going to let you know where Brian's site is. Again, if we happen to mention something, guys, be prudent. Check with the people you're working with. Don't go running off on tangents and stuff. But that is the home that Brian found. So, he's telling the story. But I just want to make sure you guys know what it is. But whatever you do, don't just go Googling it and randomly going off and running around. Get some help with this and so on. So continue. So you wanted to work with her. I remember who that is. She's a great gal. Wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. I had less than $100 when I joined MLSP, and I figured, I thought it was a scam when I joined. I really did. And I said, you know what? This is a solution. And I said, if I don't do this, what's going to happen? Nothing bad can happen. I'm already at nothing, zero. Yep. It can't get anything worse than that. And if it really is a scam, that's just I'm out $40 and I just pick myself up and continue. That's not bad for a minimum wage budget. But anyway, it turns out, of course, it's not a scam. But then I was faced with another choice because they wanted me to get magnetic sponsoring and they wanted me to get AWeber immediately after I joined as part of the system setup. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I thought I just purchased a solution. But I realized the same thing. If I don't get this, how am I going to be better off tomorrow than I am today? So
you basically shot your whole $100.
Pretty much. And that's
now, guys,
not the first time.
Brian, let me just clarify for everybody again, because we have a lot of listeners that are not from the internet scene. So let me clarify.
Right.
Brian's saying that in order to use the system that he was getting involved with, he needed some tools, an autoresponder for sending out emails, and also a particular book that they were, it was kind of like required reading. So again, if you need information on any of that, let us know. I just don't want them to be like all confused. Like, what is he talking about? Because this radio. The radio show and the network is really diverse, literally around the world, Brian.
Nice.
So it's really kind of it's awesome. It's awesome. So go ahead. So you spent your $100. You got all the tools. You got all this stuff.
So I figured, okay, well, I'm going to read every single word of that magnetic sponsoring ebook because I was desperate. I was looking for answers, and it turns out reading that book changed my whole philosophy and perception of how I viewed this industry. It went from pitch to value. Right after that. It was probably was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, mindset shifts I have ever had in my entrepreneurial career, which is over 2 years now. So I was absolutely thrilled with that. And one thing about the magnetic sponsoring ebook was they mentioned, if you really want to gain more value to people, start investing in other courses, coaching, and other materials to help you position yourself as the leader and the expert in this industry. So I'm like, interesting. So for the next few paychecks that came in, guess what I did? I bought the entire magnetic sponsoring library.
Wow. See, now most people are afraid to spend $20, and here's a young guy with not a lot of money that's taking all his money and investing it into materials to train himself about marketing. So
and some of those products in magnetic sponsoring are not cheap. For someone
no, I own all of them myself, and I agree with you. They're not, especially on your budget and on a minimum wage budget. That was really a major commitment that you were making.
Yes.
So, Brian, let's fast forward a little bit because I want to make sure, because I have some questions for you, and I want to fast forward in the story a little further, a little bit quicker so that I can make sure we get in some of the questions for the listeners. Tell us, fast forward, you learned some skills. You learned some internet skills. You learned some SEO. What's happened recently? Fill us in on, any of the important points because I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to get to some mind stuff because you're exceptional. I rarely see someone like this,
like
you. I've been in the industry for 13 years, so I want to dig into your brain. So finish up the story, and then let me get some stuff with you. So go ahead.
Sure. I guess we can fast forward to No Excuses, too.
Okay, so back where we started, where I started the story.
Right. Anyway, I had gone full-time in my business in November of 2010, but I went full-time a little too soon because then between December and up till No Excuses, too, which was the end of April 2011, it was a struggle. I did not want to go back at all because I wanted to be full-time in this business versus going back and making minimum wage again. So finally an opportunity comes where I could get a free VIP ticket a couple of nights before the event. Did not have the money at all, and long story short, won the ticket. I called my dad the next day, which was the day before the event. I said, hey, look, I won this event. It's a very important, crucial event, and I want to go. And I told him how much it cost, which was over $1,000 because a plane ticket across the country, less than 24 hours notice, is very expensive.
Yes.
Very
you
expensive.
You got to stay somewhere and you got to eat something. So yeah.
Plus that too. Fortunately, Yo Lee, I don't know if you know who he is, but
I do know Yo.
Yeah, he offered me a spot in his room.
Let you crash with him?
Yep.
Yep.
He's like, well, we don't have a bed, but we have a floor.
There you go. I've done it before myself, and another day I'll tell the crazy stories about what I did to get to events and back when I was broke. So awesome.
Right. I said I didn't care. I was just glad I could, go there and know that I have a place to stay for the night, and I did. And the one nugget I took from that, I took a lot during that weekend, but the one big one was Tim Irway saying, "Create your own stuff, create your own products." And then 3 weeks after the event, I created my first product, which was pathetic.
At least you admit it. I like that, an honest man. Good.
It was a $37, 120-minute straight-up video on Facebook advertising. That's it. That's all it was. And I ended up making over $2,000 with it in July. Magnetic Sponsoring picked up my story and blasted it to everybody. And that's where my first real exposure in this industry started to happen.
So, Brian, you took a skill that you had, turned it into a product, said, hey, guys, for $37, I'll teach you something that I know how to do, and people bought it.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, some leaders noticed you. They started, sharing your story, and boom, you kind of started to get some notice, and people were coming around.
A lot of social media exposure.
Yeah. Now, Brian, I know there's a lot more, but, guys, let me just end. I'm going to end up the story a little bit because I want to dig in. And we'll get into more facets of the story as I ask you these questions. But, guys, the end game is that just recently, what is it, this week, last week or whatever, Brian just made the top 5 in one of the biggest that
I found out yesterday.
Pro. Yeah. So top 5, which is, crazy, out of thousands and thousands and thousands of reps. He learned some skills, internet skills, what's called SEO, for those of you that are familiar. For those of you that aren't, guys, pace yourself. You don't need to learn everything in a week, but it's kind of a neat thing that Brian learned, and he's mastered it. We always tell people to master one skill, and Brian went after it, and he mastered it. And so now he's become a top 5 recruiter in one of the biggest organizations in the industry at the ripe old age of 22. So,
what to do?
I want to congratulate you, Brian. It's stunning what you've done. He went from flipping burgers at McDonald's to the top 5 in one of, a very large organization. And I might say, too, a very competitive organization. I mean, there's a lot of pros in there. There's a lot of people that know what they're doing. So to come in at that level amongst that crowd is quite the feat. But, Brian, what I want to do, and let's see how much time we have left on the show. This is I'm just having such a good time. You are just good to talk with. Maybe you'll come back again sometime.
Oh, anytime.
If you have a product come out or something, come out and promote it on the show again. But, Brian, I want to talk to you about the tenacity and the mindset. The average person that I meet that's coming into the industry, they're full of doubt. They're full of they're busy worrying about losing. I might lose my money. I might lose this. I might lose that. They're busy focusing on the challenges. And you are like a dog with a bone. I mean, you just would not let go of that sucker. So was that, were you, as a kid, were you like that? Were you like, were you determined like on video games or toys or anything like that? Or did you have that quality as a kid?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Several years ago, I was, 18 years old. It was my senior year in high school, and I had worked.
Wow, that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to move? Yeah. Yeah. Well, not the old age teasing again.
No, Brian has teased me about being old, so I'm going to tease him about being young. Brian, you got to understand, if I tease you about being young, what you've done, I mean, you beat my butt, so, I mean, come on, if you got to give me some consolation, you beat me, at least let me make fun of you, I mean, give me something.
Right, yeah, it's cool, completely cool. Well, after I played baseball my junior year in high school in 2007, I wanted to be much better for the next year, because at that point I had made a comeback since I hadn't played baseball in 3 years. So every other day I went to the weight room to try to get stronger and stronger and stronger. For 10 months I did this to try to improve myself for baseball next year. So I was a senior in high school, and I worked 10 months for 3 days. There's 3 days for a tryout period for the team. I was the only person cut from that team. my senior year in high school for a Division IV private school that was going nowhere. When that happened, word spread like crazy. The whole school came to my side. Everybody did, and
cool.
except for the coach, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he was. It was just an absolute devastating experience for me. So, a couple days after that, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go back to the weight room. Later that year, I took my first of 2 bench press competitions. I don't even know if you know this, but I won 2 bench press competitions for my weight class back in my college days. Later that year, I benched 315 pounds. Next year.
Yeah, he's a strong boy. You can tell just by looking at him. So,
well, they can't look at me right now because we're on video. This is audio.
I know, but you guys come out and meet Brian, and you'll know.
Yeah.
Just come on down. We got an event coming up. We'll tell you at the end. There's an event coming up.
Yeah,
you can come
definitely.
Meet Brian and hear him speak and all kinds of good stuff. So,
right.
Brian, just so you know, just to give you an idea, we got about 7 minutes left, and I need 2 minutes to close the show. So we got 5 minutes today.
Oh, wow.
So tell me your most important things. Tell me, what should somebody know about how do you train your mind? How should they approach? Give me your biggest, best tip. What do you got?
That experience that I just said says a lot about mindset because I was thrown to the ground when I got cut, but instead of staying on the ground, I picked myself up and did something about it. I continued going because I was going to do bench press competitions after baseball season anyway. I was just able to do it sooner. So. I just never gave up and still kept continually going to the gym all the time. And now my name is forever on the wall of the college that I went to twice.
You're the one that you flunked out of for one semester.
The one I flunked out of, yes.
But I'm etched in history, so I love that. I love that.
Yes, for 2008 and 2009, still to this day, you can go there and you can see my name twice on the wall for winning my weight class.
Nana, nana, boo, boo. Not only is my name etched on your wall, but look at what I'm doing now, baby. So that's awesome.
That mindset helped me with this business.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right up front for the never give up. And that's why I went through 22 months of financial struggle. Now, not all those months were like, where am I going to make my first dollar? That was for a lot of my first year. I'd say for the second part of that 22 months, I would say it would be enough to really make a decent living in this industry. But I didn't give up, even though a lot of people thought I was crazy. But I would never trade those 22 months of struggle for what I have today. Yeah. Never. Because the experience that I learned is experiences that will stay with me for all the rest of the days of my life. The skills that I know about this industry will also stay with me, and skills that I would have never learned if I had been in college. I mean, there's no better teacher than experience.
Exactly.
Really not.
Exactly. It's incredible. So Brian, I know that you had done a neat product, and you had that first 5-figure month, which had to be life-changing for you. Tell everybody what you went out and bought when you started making the good money. Tell them what you bought.
Yes. I bought my dream computer.
It's good to be young. Everybody else is like trying to pay their mortgage. He bought his dream computer, and it's like souped up. Are you a gamer? Do you like games?
I used to be a gamer until I decided to be serious about this business. Then I sold the Xbox. I used to be. Okay. Yes, I used to play games all the time.
Cool. Well, don't advice from an old lady to a young man. Not that I'm very old, and not that you're that young, but. Don't forget to have some fun and play some games once in a while, young man. It can be all-consuming.
Someday I'll probably will get an Xbox again just so I can blow off some free time.
Yeah, blow off some steam. That's what I'm saying. Build this puppy up. I mean,
But I want to bring up a point here, because I eliminated a distraction.
Exactly, which is critical, and sacrificing the distraction temporarily is critical. And then when you do allow it back, like I don't have cable TV. We got rid of that years ago, partially because I couldn't afford it, and partially because it was a distraction. And now we just never wanted it back. The kids don't even want it back. We're so used to not being caught up in that.
I don't have cable TV.
Yeah, it's $100 a month to drain your mind. I can buy some personal development good stuff.
Yes.
Seminar for $100.
Constant negative news.
Yeah, I know, right? No kidding. So we're at the tail end. Brian, tell everybody, first of all, if they want to hook up with you, where can they find you? Facebook or a site? Where's a good place to find you?
Well, yes, I do have a Facebook, and I do have a site. You can find me on Facebook. Let's see, it'd be facebook.com/Cole.BrianJ. You can friend me there. You can just say, like, oh, I just listened to your radio interview with Diane. Always send a message. Now, don't just send a request. You know?
Exactly, because he won't know who you are, and he won't know you're my
Yeah.
buddy, and then he won't let you in. So
Exactly.
absolutely.
Cole.BrianJ.
Cole.BrianJ.
Yep. And my website is brian-cole.com.
Brian-Cole.
It's a brand new website. I just started it about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I've had a website before, but it's just all strictly business related.
Awesome.
This new site is just a hybrid of my business life and my personal life. And I feel like I'm really, like, now that I'm blogging now, because I haven't really blogged in 2 years, like some, but not really anything.
Yeah.
But now that I'm blogging daily, I feel like I'm writing my memoirs, of everything that I've learned in the last 2 years of this industry. I'm just dumping it out on the table. And a lot of people said, well, first, it's about time.
Yeah.
And second of all, I've gotten incredible feedback on my new blog saying, oh, this is so awesome. This is great. I'm learning a lot, blah, 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 et cetera. I'm like, wow, I should have been doing this a long time ago.
Brian, I'll tell you, because those of you guys that have been on my site, it's DianeHochman.com, there's 6 years worth of content there.
There you go.
And it's funny to look back. A lot of times what I'll do is, like, it's July now. I'll go back to July 2006 or July 2007 or July 2008 and look at where I was and what I was saying. The beautiful thing is I'm proud to say that I'm talking the same line as I've been all these years.
Awesome.
So it'll be neat. You can see the development and the changes in me, but at the same time you see that intent is still
Right.
still the same. So, guys, I'm going to wrap down the show, but I just want to point out, guys, I always talk about events. My upcoming schedule, I just got back from Colorado, the Mile High MLM Mastermind. That was a blast. Next thing coming up, Pro Blog Academy down in Orlando, Florida. For those of you that are familiar with that, if not, tweet me at Diane Hochman. I'll fill you in on that. And then come, I think August is actually free. I'm having a mental book. But in September, I'm in Scotland, and then
Nice.
I hear I have another event. But what I want to bring up now, and I really literally only have a couple seconds, is in October, Brian and I both will be sharing the podium at a great event called Live the Dream, which is sponsored by My Elite System Pro. So, if you're looking to come out to a big event, it's not too early to start thinking about this. Details will be coming out soon. It's going to be held in Dallas at the Gaylord Resort, absolutely incredible resort, and a ton of us will be there. If you're looking to learn more about internet network marketing or internet home business building, great environments to get a hold of one of us and say, hey, I want to know about this event and what's going on, because we will be there with bells on. And this time, Brian, I think you have a free VIP ticket.
Yes, I do.
But a whole different kind.
A whole different one, yeah.
Yeah, so congratulations. And, guys,
Thank
it's
you.
time to
You
wrap
too.
down the show. We got a couple seconds left. It's been the Diane in the Morning Show here on the Home Business Radio Network. We'll see you guys next time. Brian, thank you. You've been an awesome guest. I had a
thank
blast.
you.
We'll see
My
you another
pleasure.
time. Take care.
All right, bye.